welcome to TalkRx with Dr. Neha. Today I have a really special guest, Anita Moorjani, and she is willing to ask her communication questions so that all of you can learn. I'm so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! So tell me, what have you been thinking about? What
All
communication dilemma?
Okay, so this is an interesting question, at least for me. I find it really hard to combine work with friends, like to work with friends. And that's a challenging one for me, because when we start working with people, even if I was to hire somebody that's not a friend,
Right.
we bond with them and we become friends. And it's very different when I used to work in corporate and they were colleagues.
Right.
But when I'm hiring someone to work for
Right.
me, I find it challenging because once I become friends with them, I actually find it more difficult to then to basically get the work done the way I need it to be done.
So let me see if I get this right. So when you worked in corporate, it felt like there were clearer boundaries.
Yes,
You had your work friends and then you went home.
yes.
And you could say things and ask them to do things and leave, and there was this ease.
There was an ease, and also I had colleagues at work, and there were people who I reported to, and people
Yep.
who reported to me. So there were different levels.
Well-defined levels.
Well defined. And another thing to add to the element is because I am in a world or in an industry as a speaker, and you could almost say in a spiritual arena.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so my natural state is I am very open, I am very friendly, I want people to be who they are,
Yep.
including the people who work for me.
Yep.
But sometimes it can be challenging when I need something done and people are just being who they are.
So what's interesting about that is, I think under the guise of spirituality,
Yeah.
sometimes what happens is it becomes an excuse to blur boundaries. So listen, I mean, Anita, I know you want me to do that, but listen, I'm just being me, right? And I think there's something different. As soon as there is an exchange of money, it's about well-defined roles, really.
Yeah.
And so there's a few things that I'd ask you first, which is, as an employer, how clear are you up front about delineating clear expectations, roles, and responsibilities? How do you do there?
Probably not that great at it.
Yeah.
I can already see that when you say that.
Right? And
Yeah.
it's about how clear you are in making agreements with them.
Yeah.
So as you're speaking about this, right, can you feel anything in your physical, like your physiology, your physical body talking to you?
Yes.
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling that what I'm getting back is kind of a reflection of what I'm delivering. I'm not delivering clarity in terms of what my expectation is from their role.
Yeah.
Yeah, and perhaps even I'm blurring the lines between spirituality and work as well.
Because listen, isn't it nice to work with people you just adore?
Yes.
It's like this synergistic power. I mean,
Yes.
I felt it with you and Danny the first time I met you guys, right? And so there's an ease. There tends to be an ease, and it's almost something indescribable, but there's even like an openness in your body. Like I find like I can breathe deeper, I'm more relaxed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you. But yes, I feel that way with you and with the people I come across as well. I love being with people with whom I
Yep.
feel this ease with. Yeah.
But listen, if we were working together someday,
Yeah.
right? What would have to happen is it would have to be something like this. Hey Neha, so I'm going to say it to you as if I was beginning to work with you.
Okay.
So it'll be like, well, before I get there, tell me what you're worried about if you show up with honest, clear communication and clear boundaries. What is it what's the story running in your head that you're worried about? What might happen?
That's a very good question. The first thing that comes to mind is that I might be judged, which is interesting. Yeah.
And what might you be judged for? What might they say about you?
That she's not she's not as spiritual as we thought, and she's a spiritual teacher and things like that.
Like, how can you be a spiritual teacher out in the world and look how you're behaving when the cameras aren't on?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I have to tell you something, Anita. when my family really wants to get my goat, like really get my goat,
Yeah.
they say, and who do you think should buy a book from a woman who just communicated like that?
You know, my husband, I know my husband always says he's going to write a book exposing the real truth about me.
It's kind of funny,
It's
right?
funny, yeah.
I mean, when they say it, I mean, it does actually get me a little bit riled, like, am I not being in alignment? But I think the most important thing, whether it's spirituality, communication, is that, first of all, we're learning as we're growing. None of us, even in teaching this work, are saying we've arrived.
Yeah, exactly. None of us say that.
Right? We're just saying, like, we're trying just like everybody else. This is an area that has really spoken to our heart and changed our life.
Yeah.
And so I want to share with you what I've learned, so in hopes that your life would be easier.
Yeah.
But somehow what happens is there's this level of expectation that starts to happen, which is you must be perfect if this is the business that you've gotten in.
Yeah, but in actuality, I never even signed up to run a business, to be an employer, to have people work for me. And it's something I've realized that I needed because, you know, all I do is speak about my experience and write about it. And that's all I want to do. Nothing more than that. I'd be the happiest person if I could just sit and do that.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, there's more to it than that. And people write in and I need somebody to help me.
Yeah.
And that's when I realize, okay, I have to employ someone. But then, yeah.
How do we keep the boundaries clear, right?
Yeah.
So now that you understand what's driving this is, oh my God, what if people don't think I'm perfect?
Which I know I'm not, that's the thing.
Which is kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
So what it is this becomes about boundaries and self-trust.
Yeah.
Because this is the deal. If up front we can't talk, I mean, listen, you and I just signed a release around this free video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we can't have that conversation up front and agree to it when there's no bickering or discord amongst us, it's going to be a lot easier to do it now than it is going to be to do it later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the deal there is, it's a little bit of discomfort. Like I thought, oh, did I give her the wrong agreement? Like I thought, like maybe I'm not showing up with the right agreement or whatever it is. Come to find out, I didn't know what was going on in your life, right?
Yeah.
And so it's about getting curious and trusting yourself enough to say that you're going to know how to handle what comes next. And for you as well, I think it's going to be important to do boundaries up front. Mm-hmm. Because this is what I would say to you. Let's say I was bringing you onto my team. I would say, hey, Anita, I am so excited about you joining Team Neha, right? And there's a few things that I want to talk about because I want our relationship to be strong. And I'm really invested in us. I already like you, and your friendship is so important to me that my thought is, if we're clear up front and we both know what expectations we have of one another, it'll be so much easier to have discussions later on as things change.
Yeah, I like that. I really like that approach. To start with saying, I really like you. I like you as a person. I like you as a friend. So let's be really clear up front about the expectations and the boundaries.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And you can even own a piece of this, whereas in the past, I've been more lax about this, and what I find is later on I'm sending mixed messages and I'm not as clear as I'd like to be.
Yes.
Right?
That's exactly what I've done in the past.
Yeah, and it just gets weird.
Yeah.
Right? And so up front, when nothing's weird, let's have the real discussion. And the best part is, too, you have great support in Danny.
Yeah.
And so you guys can do this together, and it'll be this arena that will synergistically help you grow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited. That was helpful?
That was very helpful. Thank you.
All right,
that
great.
was beautiful.
So for those of you that might be struggling with blurred boundaries, right, where work is kind of moving into your social life, and you're trying to figure out how do you get clear? Think about, first of all, notice the physical sensations in your body that tell you that, right? Your heart might start racing, your stomach might turn. The next is, notice what thoughts you have going on in your head. If you're really worried that other people aren't going to think you're nice, that's a really interesting thought, because would you rather have someone be nice to you and not tell you what's really going on, or would you rather have them compassionately have an honest discussion with you? right? So everybody can set expectations. So I guess the last thought that I'd love to leave you with is, I struggle with communication just like everybody else. And Anita here is telling us that there's a part of her that, sometimes doesn't feel as spiritual, even though what she's teaching is spiritual. And I think there's just a way that in all of this, I want you to know, we're just like you.
Yep.
So thanks, and I'll see you next time.